Hey there everyone, welcome to my brand new finance focused channel. This is going to be my first time ever doing anything kind of like this. I do have some experience on YouTube, but nothing like this. It's definitely very different. And I already know I'm going to do that thing where I say something and then I stop and I go, oh, no. And if I do that, I swear I'm not crazy. I'm used to a very different thing. Okay, so today I'm going to be introducing you guys to my brand new cash budgeting system. I've been using kind of a cash system for the past couple months in preparation of the new year, in which case I knew I was going to be starting this channel. I knew I was going to be starting using these journals. I bought this one for myself, and then Santa was nice enough to give this one to me. So I am completely ready to start my finance journey, and I really hope that I can inspire you guys to, take your finances into your own hands if you don't already have them there. Heck, if you're financially stable, I envy you. I have been struggling very, very hard financially since beginning of my adulthood, which was a decade ago. So, yeah, I'm definitely really looking forward to starting this system and hopefully improving my financial life and my financial future, no matter how lame that might sound. Okay, anyway, so hi everybody. I am a single mother. I am 29 years old. I live in Ontario, Canada. I work in the automotive industry, and I get paid bi-weekly. Therefore, everything I put into my envelopes, as far as my, weekly or daily expenses, will be split into two so that so if I put 150 in for groceries, say, then that's expecting $75 a week, for example. I'm currently living with my mother at her house. I have a very minimal rent because, she knows I really want to buy a place, and unfortunately the housing market in Canada right now is kind of ridiculous, and therefore she charges me minimal rent so that I can put money towards my future dream home, which my savings is not doing great for right now, but it'll get better. I know it will. So yeah, I have been a victim of the tap now, think later system for far too long, and so far I'm loving doing the whole cash budgeting thing. Here's a really quick breakdown of my budgeting. So yeah, I typically find out the night before I get paid. I get paid on Thursdays, so I typically find out on the Wednesdays before how much I'm making, and then I sit down and do my entire budget. So when I do my budgets, I will sit down with the camera here and I will do my budget like that, and then I will go get cash, bring it home, and do the cash stuffing probably on the same video, unless you guys eventually prefer that I do a budget breakdown as a separate video, which would definitely be like the shortest video of the 2-week series of videos. Yeah, so in case you've never heard of it, what is cash budgeting? So basically, yeah, you get paid, and once you get paid, you break your entire paycheck down into a budget of what you need for basic survival, as well as like paying bills and all of that. And then you put them in your little envelopes, which are labeled however you choose to label them. And then between your pay periods, that is the only money you are technically allowed to spend. So therefore, if I was to budget $100 for groceries and I went over, the idea is that every dollar you make has a place, and every place has a purpose. So if I have $100 in my grocery budget and I spend $75 in 1 week, then I've only got $25 for the next week. And so it's really about teaching you discipline. And obviously, for the first couple weeks, first couple months, you're gonna make mistakes. I know I'm gonna make mistakes. I know I'm going to be having to make adjustments to my budgets, and depending on what kind of stuff is coming up, what I might put in my grocery folder this week, it might be a very different number 2 weeks from now. Who knows? Depending on, like, maybe we do a birthday dinner, for my son, or maybe we do a birthday dinner for myself in the summer, and that kind of thing can really have an impact on your budgeting. So every number can change, and you know, the number you come up with now might not be the number that works. And so therefore, the first couple months are all about adjusting, and you know, also at the same time trying to kind of simplify if need be. And mostly it's about discipline. It's about, you know, looking at something and thinking, do I need that, or is it that I want that? Now, if I want that, can I afford that? You know, that kind of thing. You just have to really, I guess, set your mind on what you're doing. Previously, the only time I've ever actually used an envelope system was when I was a teenager and I was heading to New York. And I had a part-time job, and I took money from every paycheck and I put it aside for 3-4 months. And then once it came time to go to the trip, what I did was it was a 4-day trip, so I had 4 envelopes, and each envelope would have a certain amount of money. And after food and activities, anything I had left from day 1, the money would be put into envelope for day 2. And then same thing after day 2, anything left in that envelope would go into day 3. And so that way at the last day, we ended up doing the biggest event. And that way I actually had money to participate the same way everyone else did. And that's the only time I've ever done it. It definitely worked for me. And therefore, like, as an adult, looking at an actual system made sense to me. But do you need all this? No, you do not. If this is your first time ever doing something like this, I'm gonna be honest, this system may not work for you. And to sit here and be like, this works for everyone would be completely unfair, because I know that nothing works for everyone. It's not a one-size-fits-all system. And some people have very different lives. Some people have different, like, some people have several incomes. And, you know, we all have different lives. We all have different day-to-day journeys, and so yeah, this might not work for you. So in that case, I would suggest that you start off with just some paper envelopes from a box from like the dollar store. I don't suggest that you start off by fully investing. Now, if you do choose to fully invest, if that is where you want to go, this envelope, or this binder here, I got this one from Amazon. It's very pretty. I realized I have a bit of a addiction to marble, because even my journal, so my calendar, which I've actually got everything but like completely budgeted out, my holidays and all of that, and like my paydays, and you know, money from the government and all of that, when things are due, I have it all kind of planned out. But I've noticed that everything in my life right now has this kind of pattern. And if you could see my phone, even my phone case has a marbling pattern, which is just kind of funny to me. So yes, this one here, this binder here is from Amazon. It was under $20. And like I said, Santa got me a second one, but I will tell you, I know for a fact that it also was under $20. It's literally the same binder, but one's multicolored and one's gray. So this one here, as you can see, I've already got it completely ready to go, all filled out. I didn't choose to use the stickers like you can see here. I actually chose to go to the dollar store and, you know, create my own labels with just some stickers. I just liked them a little better. It made it feel a little more personal. But yeah, I do want to show you, like, since this one's all set up already, I do want to show you what you can get in a package of these. And you know, like I said, for under $20, this is what you'd be getting from Amazon. I'll leave a link in the description. These two were both bought off the same seller, but it was just a different pattern. So I'm going to open this one here with you just so you guys can see kind of what all it comes with. And yeah, so let's get into that. Okay, so you open the package. All right, so this is what you get. I'm going to move that out of the way. This is what you get. So you get your stickers, see, I didn't personally love the stickers. So I guess what you do is you're supposed to cut around the word that you want to use, and then you pull the plastic coating off. And then when you put it on the thing, you have to peel it off, kind of like a heat transfer or like a temporary tattoo kind of deal, I think. But I didn't really love that, so I made my own. But yeah, so it comes with some labels, comes with everything you really need. So rent, transportation, dining out, birthdays, vacation, health, utilities, bills, deposit, Oh, deposit, that's for if you're taking it back to the bank. Groceries, car, pets, all of the major things, and entertainment, it's all here. But yeah, after those, you go into your binder. So it's just like a little, it's basically just a magnet. Okay, so then you open it up, and well, this one here is already set up. So when I opened, that's kind of unfair. My other one was not set up like this. So this one here, when I had this one, when I set this one up, you opened it and all of the envelopes were loose and you had to take all the little plastic things out. But this one here is literally all put in and put together, and yeah, so you got a space here. So some people do take these with them to like the grocery store or whatever. I personally have like a longer wallet, and I'm just going to make some dividers for that, I think, so that I can put like, you know, what my weekly expenses or my weekly finances into my wallet, and then at the end of the week when I'm unstuffing, I can, you know, put my second week in, and that way I can kind of, I don't know, you'll see how it'll work out. I hope it'll work out. But yeah, then you have like these little budget sheets, which I think they're different patterns, so that you can technically put them in front of each envelope, and that way you can keep track of how much should be in there, how much you're spending, what you're spending on, and just basically keeping track of your funds. These little envelopes here, I'm actually not 100% sure what their purpose is. I'm sure, like, you know, you could probably do some sort of like a savings challenge or something like that with these, unless they're meant to hold coins. I'm honestly not 100% sure. But these ones here are the ones that I have personally used. They're called A6 envelopes. So if you don't have enough, you can always order more. But yes, they are called A6. And I think these ones, if you were to cut them in half, they'd be called A7. I know that A7 envelopes don't actually fit a cash dollar bill flat. You have to fold them. So yeah, these here, they come with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 regular envelopes. I think this one here came with 10. Because I don't think I recall seeing these ones in that. Mind you, I might just not have looked. Anyway, so that's what they come with. And if you get one that isn't set up already, pretty much all you do is you just pull the envelope, and you just have to take the little rings out, and then you can put whatever you want on the front, toss her in there, and close it, and move on with your next day. And so yeah, that is what they come with. Definitely worth the money. It's literally you know, you can also go like online to certain websites and buy your envelopes pre-labeled, which is pretty cool. I personally don't think as of right now that I'm going to invest the money when I can just do it myself for cheaper. This back here like that. Yeah, what haven't I touched on? I guess I'll go over the envelopes I have now. I'm gonna move this out of the way next time. Play a quick game of and switch. So before I get started, I want to talk a little bit about how I come up with my budget for what goes in here and what doesn't. So when I find out what I'm being paid, like I said, I get paid on the Thursday, I find out on the Wednesday. So then I will be able to do all of my major online expenses, such as I do all my rent, I send that through e-transfer, my child care, which I have a personal babysitter, and the after school program with my son's school. Then I have my phone bill, which is obviously once a month. I am currently in debt to my mechanic, and therefore I pay through e-transfer to my mechanic until that's paid off. My credit card payments are online, and I also have a special tax-free savings account, which I cannot personally access without doing paperwork, and therefore that comes out, it's $100 every pay, and that comes out automatically from my account, so that's another online expense. And then I have something that I call the floating 30 with my sister. So what the floating 30 is, so she gets paid on the opposite weeks as I do. So I get paid on week 1, she gets paid on week 2. I get paid on week 3, she gets paid on week 4. And so week 1, when I get paid, I send her $30 immediately, and then when she gets paid the next week, she sends it back. It just basically bounces back and forth. And honestly, there's been times where That $30 has been the reason that we had dinner that night. That $30 has been the reason I made it to work the next morning because maybe I didn't have gas in my car. That $30 has paid for my medications, which I'm on daily for life. That $30 has saved my life in more ways than I can count. And even though I do plan on getting my finances in order so I don't have to worry about that anymore or to coming so close to being out of money, I know that it's still nice to have. It's still helpful to both her and I, and therefore I think we're going to keep doing it for a while. We've been doing it for about 6 months now, and like I've said, every single time, I swear it's well, maybe not every time, but most of the time it's like it saves your life in some way. So yeah, I have that as well that I pay through e-transfer. And before you say it, with bank fees, every e-transfer at the end of the month is actually reimbursed. I think it's like up to 50 e-transfers or something like that is reimbursed to me through my bank. I bank with Meridian Credit Union. And that's just, I guess, one of the special things. So yeah, okay, let's just get into our envelopes. Okay. All right, so the first of my envelopes is groceries. So, obviously, I'm not stuffing them today, so I'm just going to discuss it really quickly and really quickly. So, single mother of a young son. He's under 10. He doesn't eat a lot, but he obviously is growing, so he is eating quite often. Obviously, I have to pay for school lunches as well as lunches for work. I work day shift, therefore I eat my lunches at work and also my breakfast. And I also have to keep breakfast in the house for when the babysitter comes in the mornings. So I typically spend most of my money on produce and like muffins, snacks for my son's lunch. The biggest thing I think is like my son really loves Lunchables, so I typically Walmart in Ontario anyway, I don't know about every Walmart, but Walmart here generally has Lunchables for 3 for $9. And so typically I will buy 3 Lunchables, and then he has pizza days on Wednesdays, I think. He has pizza days on Wednesdays, and then generally I'll send him a sandwich or soup for the last day. So typically my groceries, I will generally do between 150 and 180 every 2 weeks. And so that is about 75 to 90 every week. Okay, gas. So literally a week ago, I had to get rid of my car. It was beyond repair and it was just time to let it go. By the time the tow truck came to pick it up, it no longer even started. So it was scrapped, and that $500 scrap value actually went straight to my mechanic because, like I said, I was in debt. I still am, but my debt is actually very, very quickly coming down. Obviously, with $500 taken off, that debt is disappearing quite quick. And I won't have to think about that anymore for a while. But gas. So I do still have a vehicle. It is my mom's vehicle. Her car, unfortunately, does guzzle gas a little more than mine did. But either way, at least I'm able to go places. I typically like to go to visit my sister every week. And that is an hour drive, and therefore gas is quite expensive. And so, yeah, I typically do same thing with groceries, about 150 to 180 a pay, which is $75 to $90 a week, depending on everything. I generally just try to fill my gas tank once a week, which is typically about $70. It might change now I'm driving mom's car, but that's what mine was. So that's one of the things that I might have to make adjustments, but obviously it's her car, so I kind of expect that I won't be the only one putting gas in it. Yeah, okay. All right, kiddo. So this will be basically anything for my son. So his allowance, he gets $5 a week after doing 5 chores. That's how I work it in my house. After doing 5 chores on a Friday, he gets a $5 bill, and that's going to be coming out of this fund. Also, anything pretty much for him. So I'll probably do my back to school shopping out of here. Technically, like right now, he doesn't need anything as far as clothing, outdoor stuff. He's in between sizes right now. So right before Christmas, I actually went on a clearance shopping spree, and I actually bought him like 10 to 12 pairs of pants that were all one size up. they're way too big for him now, but the size that he's in right now is a little bit too small. So he's literally right in between sizes. And so yeah, I bought him like 10 to 12 pairs of pants, and then a bunch of shirts. The next time I'm really gonna have to focus on clothing will be this summer when he's getting shorts and t-shirts again. And I think by then he'll probably need a new pair of sandals, which will come out of this as well. But this envelope will basically just be anything that's for him. This envelope will also probably be where I get like his pizza money and his milk. So at school, every Wednesday they get pizza, and every day they get a milk, white or chocolate milk. And so that is generally like, I think the pizza it comes out every 3 months or something like that. And then the milk comes out every 3 months as well. So it's usually like a $60 hit. So I'll probably be taking that out of his, and if he doesn't have enough to cover it, I'll probably just budget it. We'll have to see. I haven't done it yet. So I paid for that in December for up until April, January, February, March, up until March. So when that comes back in March, we will figure out what we're gonna do. All right, as far as fun, my son and I love doing things together. Okay, I won't speak for him. I love doing things with my son. You know, I love to take him bowling. I like to take him to the movie theaters. We're going to a hockey game this month. We're going, like, you know, we like to do a bunch of stuff. They just opened up a new escape room, which I would love to take him to. The only downside is that's $30 a person, and that's kind of expensive for an hour of fun. There's also arcades in our area, and I also really want to take him like treetop trekking, whatever you call that, where you get to go bungee jumping. No, where you get to go zip lining and stuff. I really want to take him to do something like that. So that's the kind of stuff that this one's going to be for, is going out and having a good time. Yeah. Okay, dining out. So typically, my son and I will go to Tim Hortons maybe twice a week. I like to get ice caps. He likes to get lemonades. And so that's typically about $10 each time. And then my sister and I are together every week. I hear a cat scratching something and I don't know where they are. But we like to go out once a week. So every time we're together, we go out for dinner. And like I said, she and I get paid on alternate weeks. So when I get paid, I pay for eating out. And when she gets paid, she pays. So typically, although I am eating out twice per pay period, I only technically pay once. That sounded weird because I was thinking as I was talking. Yeah, so week 1, I pay for food. Week 2, she pays for food. So even though we're eating out twice, I'm only paying once. But on the day that I pay, we also typically go to Starbucks, and we both just get lemonades. And so that's a $15 thing. And when I get paid, I pay. And when she gets paid, she pays. So that's, again, a dining out thing. Okay, emergency. So my life is kind of basically full of emergencies lately, between my car dying and, you know, just different things. I have been desperate for an emergency account. So now I have one. This is going to be my emergency account. Eventually, this is probably going to end up in the other binder, which is going to end up being my sinking funds binder. But for now, it's going to be in here. And the kinds of emergencies I'm expecting are such as if I have to miss a day at work or something like that due to me being sick or my son being sick, it's basically going to have extra money so that I can, you know, survive if I miss a day of work. Or, you know, if something else comes up, say, if, you know, there's a leak in the house or something, obviously I'm going to help my mom as much as I can with the house, considering she's letting me live here, very, very cheap rent. So if it's something, oh boy, so if it's something that is like affordable, that I can help with, then I will help with it. But yeah, emergencies, basically the account for if something comes up you weren't expecting. Yeah, okay, emergency. Okay, so pets. As I'm sure you've maybe already seen or heard me say, I have cats, but I also have 2 dogs and I have 2 fish tanks. So therefore my money for my pets definitely is definitely well used. My mom and I split the cost of the cat food, dog food, kitty litter, but then the fish tank stuff is all me. I have 2 dogs, 4 cats, and like I said, 2 fish tanks. Now, before you think I'm like a crazy cat woman, 3 of those cats we weren't supposed to have. They were rescues. We've got one who was basically being eaten alive, which we brought in. Then we have one that was basically living in an abandoned warehouse in the middle of winter, freezing to death, so we brought him in. And then we had one that was, honestly, she was just at the animal shelter, and she had the face of a cat I previously had that passed away after, I don't know, I think she was 20, I think she's about 20 years old, 18 to 20, somewhere in there. And so when I saw this little face at the animal shelter, I just couldn't not take her, and so she's a rescue as well. And then I have one that I actually picked up from my house, and like just a private seller. He was free, but it was yeah. So I have 4 cats, 2 dogs, an American Eskimo, and a chocolate lab, and then the fish. And so yeah, anyway, moving on. Vacay. So with my job, I am very, very fortunate that I get actually a relatively decent amount of paid time off. So it is the first week of January, and I'm currently off. And then I also have a week off in March, and I have a week off in July. And then I also have like Christmas holiday at the end of the year, which I just got off of. So I typically get a week to a week and a half off with Christmas. So my son, the farthest I've ever gotten to take him is to like Kingston, Ontario, or North Bay. They're both about the same distance away from me. He's been to North Bay once. I've been to North Bay 3 times. He's been to Kingston, oh boy, how many times have we been to Kingston? Probably like, I want to say like a dozen times we've been to Kingston, and I think only 2 he didn't come with me. But this year I really want to go somewhere. Like, I've only been out of Ontario once or twice, I guess. I went to Montreal when I was like 19, but I also went to New York when I was 16. And so I think I just really want to go somewhere else. I would love to take my son to like Montreal or Quebec anyway, just so I can take him whale watching, because I love orcas, and I know that they migrate through whatever that river's called anyway. But I know they go through Montreal, and you can actually go on whale watching tours. But some of the other places I want to go, like I really want to go to Alberta. I have family out in Alberta, but I also really have always wanted to go to BC. So I don't know, we'll have to see what kind of money I can save, and see what happens, I guess, and just kind of go from there. And then personal. So mine is going to go towards, personally, if I see something I like or want, I don't wait for my birthday, I buy it for myself. So I guess this money will be going towards that kind of thing. But I'm not a very materialistic person. But also I have 3 autoimmune diseases that I am on medication for daily. So that kind of thing could also be funded by this envelope, because those prescriptions all kind of add up. But this one here will also be for like clothing or for whatever I personally may need. Yeah. And then before I close this up, I want to talk about one more thing. So this here is not a sponsored thing. I feel like I need to say that because I'm going to speak very highly of it, but it's based off completely just personal experiences. I personally use this app called Swagbucks, and so there's many different things you can do on that. But basically what you do is you can do like online, every day there's an online poll. It'll ask you a simple question with a bunch of multiple choice answers, and all you do is just submit your answer, and that's a free point every day. There's also, you can play games to make points or earn points. You can do surveys to earn points. You can even you can even submit your receipts from grocery shopping and stuff like that, and you'll get points redeemed through items that you've purchased. I do that with every one of my grocery receipts, and between you and me, when I go to No Frills, I actually sometimes grab the receipts that are on the floor, because if they're not going to cash them in, I will. In the past, some of the things I've been able to use, those, so what you do is you earn the points, and then you eventually redeem them or cash them in for gift cards. And so in the past, I have redeemed Amazon gift cards, Walmart gift cards, Esso gift cards. I actually, in August, so very, very recently, I actually funded an entire trip to Kingston and back using only gift cards that I got from Swagbucks. My sister and I had planned a trip to Kingston, but when the trip actually came about, neither of us had any money. I couldn't afford the gas, couldn't afford the hotel, couldn't afford really anything. So I said to my sister, I said, if you cover the hotel, I'll cover everything else. And she's like, okay, fine. Well, then I kind of tricked her a little bit, just because I covered the gas and the groceries using gift cards that I'd got from Swagbucks. What I did was I had like 50,000 points that I'd been saving up. I was hoping to use for Christmas, but I cashed them in a little early. And what I was able to do with those points is I was able to get $150 worth of Esso gift cards and a $100 Walmart gift card. And so the Esso gift cards was the gas station, so I was able to get to and from completely free, not having to pay for gas at all. And then I was able to stock the fridge using the Esso gift card, using the Walmart gift card. So the only thing that I actually had to pay for after that was we went to Fort Henry and we went for a walk, the haunted walk through there. And then we went out for dinner because, you know, when you have a fridge full of food, why not go out for dinner? But yeah, so basically, like, I honestly think it's like a life-changing thing. And like I said, you can play games to earn points, and that's typically what I do. Currently, I'm playing a casino game that like a slots game, and when you get to level 100, you get 3,300 points, which is $33 worth of points. Pretty cool. And yeah, so like I'm on level 40 now, and I've only been playing for 4 days, haven't put any money into it. Like, you know, it's not like you have to pay to get your points or pay to do anything. It's a completely free app. Anyway, you know what, link is in the description below. I'll let you give it a try. If you don't like it, don't use it, but I personally think it's very, very helpful. And once you start earning those points, it really kind of, you know, works out really kind of, I wanted to say kind of earns its worth, but it's kind of like it's free. Anyway, so I think I've covered everything. Is there anything I haven't covered? Yeah, I think I've covered everything. So my next video will be coming out on probably the 6th, which will be a Friday. Like I said, I get paid for the first time of the year on the 5th. And we'll do a bit of a budget breakdown once I find out what I'll be making. And then once I go to the bank and get cash, I will do a stuffing video. And then once the week is over, or once the pay period's over, I'll be unstuffing this one and putting, I think what I'm going to do, I don't know for sure yet, but I think anything that I don't use out of this one, I'm going to come up with a bunch of categories for this one. It'll be like my sinking funds. So anything I don't spend in this, I'm going to sink into this. I think that's how I'm going to do it. We'll have to see. We'll kind of play it as we go. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'm very excited to start this new financial journey. I'm really hoping that it makes like a huge difference in my life. I will soon be starting probably a car savings fund as well. And I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. There's gonna be a lot of maybes and a lot of adjustments that I'm gonna be making, but I'm really excited, and I hope you guys are too. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys, I guess, at the end of the week. So bye.